The site we're looking at today is DeepSense. They do AI. Oh, okay.
Not sure if anyone can hear me, but looks like we have a frozen screen. Now, the DeepSense folks, did you have any goals, like things you were hoping to achieve with any website changes?
That's a good question, actually. And so I think the thing is we're a really small team based out of Dalhousie, and we help companies explore the world of artificial intelligence. So our job is trying to do a couple of things where we bring companies in, and we also bring in students, and we bring in researchers. So we have like 3 key target markets, which gets tricky from a website.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, looks like his screen is up and running. So I think for us, and Rebecca, who's here as well, works in communications at Dow, I think sometimes we kind of struggle with, we have to message to a lot of people, and we try to shove a lot of information into their face to try to convince them that we can help them. And that's learning more about where people come from and who's coming is going to be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm back. Sorry for the delay. And thank you for giving the overview of DeepSense, Jennifer. I'm going to rewatch that so I can hear more about your guys' challenges. But the first opportunity we're seeing in here is setting up Google Search Console. So although there are other search engines, if we go in here and we're looking at audience, we're looking for traffic. So if we're looking for channels, organic's driving quite a lot of traffic. So organic's driving about 28%. I ran this for about a year, and it was about 35. When we break it down to individual mediums, we see that Google is still, excuse me, if we were looking at organic and just organic, let's segment that out. I don't know if my son's just popping out up behind me on my shoulder here, but he's decided to join us for the meeting, guys. The rest of us working from home. I'm sure you're aware of this. So 90% of that traffic's coming from Google. So there are other search engines that we need to consider, but Google is the main one that we're going to pay attention to because it's driving the lion's share of the traffic. And with that, like a tool like Google Search Console is really powerful because you can see actually what you're ranking for keywords, and then as well. Just give me 1 second, folks. Bye, guys.
This is a classic.
Excuse me. Yeah, so setting up Search Console allows you to see what's actually driving your traffic. So you can see click-through rate, you can see what queries are happening, you can see the impressions. So you can see clicks, so that's the amount of time people actually click on your site. From these search results, you can see impressions, so that's how many times you actually show up in the search results. Then as well, you can drive into click-through rate. You can break these down by individual page. If you've got a page structure for, say, like blog content, you can filter out just blog content or specific pages. So you can really drill down. Now, it's a free tool, and it's pretty robust. It's not an absolute. I would use it as a guide, not as this is exactly how things work, but it helps you drive some ideas. So with that in play as well, you can look at striking distance. Striking distance is super powerful as well, because like if you find keywords that you're ranking for, and usually non-branded keywords that are sitting on that middle to first page into the second page, then you've got all the right signals for Google, and it's just a matter of optimizing your content, taking a look at your search results, and getting an idea how you can improve that click-through rate to drive your traffic up. And this is like going for keywords you're already ranking for, but you're not necessarily converting for in a search result. And then when you've got it set up, you can also, you can sync it with Google Analytics. You can see all that information in here and drill a little bit further down. You'll see here it's saying it's not set up right now. When you do have Search Console set up, it's pretty straightforward to do this. You can do it through the admin section here. You go into property settings here, and you scroll down, adjust Search Console, and you just add yourself in. And then that'll sync those two pieces of data together. Cool thing with Search Console too is, unlike analytics where you set it up, it just starts tracking the day you started tracking. It does go back a little bit. It won't happen initially, but with time you'll see that. Yeah, that's the first suggestion we have for you folks, and that's really going to help you inform what's driving your traffic and how you can drive your content going forward. The next opportunity we see is improving your homepage metadata. So over the last year, your homepage was responsible for about 64% of your traffic. And this traffic's mainly driven by branded search terms. So DeepSense, one word, and then deep space sense. The metadata is your ad copy from within the search results, and it will show you what your current search results look like. We'll go back to the DeepSense query. So you'll see it just says DeepSense home, and then it's a little bit of truncation here. DeepSense supports collaborative projects between businesses, the ocean economy, and academic research to drive growth through artificial intelligence. Now, we took a stab at this, and of course, we don't know your business as well as you do, so I highly recommend. We'll send you these notes as well, Becca and Jennifer, afterwards, so you can action this or refine it how you would like to be done. But in here, there's no point in having home in your title for your home page. It's considered that your home page is a home. You don't need to define that, and usually, it's not usually somebody who's defined it. It's usually done by default. But there's an opportunity here to create content that informs the user, and you can use this real estate. So getting rid of home, you get a little bit of space to work with. So the one we were suggesting, and what I like to use is there's a tool called SERP Sim. There's a handful of these online. You can just plug in your URL, and it'll give you what information you've defined for the search results. And usually what I do is I'll run this through, I'll fetch the URL, find out what's going in here. So there's no meta description right now. We got home and then dash DeepSense. Usually with a branded search query, Google is smart enough to take that and swap it around. So what we recommend is you're not normally a brand, like a homepage is going to be driven by branded traffic. So you're not necessarily going after keywords unless you've got one main service offering, one main product, then this would be an opportunity to do this. But it is an opportunity to add a little bit more copy. So what we're recommending here is playing with Google's format, keeping it the same way. Normally we would put the branded name secondary, but this is what we've been considering. So DeepSense, we have no truncation here. It takes up all that real estate, AI and machine learning for the ocean economy. Broad, quick, but really defines what you guys are about. And then as far as the description goes, so we don't have a description in here right now, but the description being defined is getting pulled from the content on page. So if we were to go back to the home page and we were to look at DeepSense specifically, so DeepSense supports collaborative projects between business and the ocean, and we go into the DeepSense homepage here, who we are. So they're pulling this information from there. And now what we recommend, what I like to do is take this type of copy, the copy that Google's already considering for it, plug it in here, and what it'll show you is where it's going to truncate, usually. We can compare that with the actual search results. Right after intelligence, it starts truncating. It's doing the same thing here. Start playing around with this copy. You don't need to mention your brand twice. So what is your company? What are you selling? What is your main product? What's going to entice people to click through? So a meta description, Google's not looking for, or any search engine's not looking for keywords in the meta description to push that traffic, or they're not using it as a ranking factor. But it is an indirect ranking factor. So anything you have in there that can increase the click-through rate is going to influence the algorithm. If you have something in there for a query that might get bolded, it could increase it. But we're not worried about bolding with the meta description on the homepage because you're already showing it first. We just want to entice more people to click through. So the copy we came up with, and again, you know, refine this as you see fit, was artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the better use of data for collaborative projects between ocean economy businesses and academic researchers. So there's no truncation, uses up all the space, clearly defines what you folks are about, mentions some strong keywords like artificial intelligence, machine learning, the better use of data, collaborative projects, ocean economy business, academic research. So these are main subject matter of what your folks are selling from what we can gather from the site. And with those in place, we could potentially get a search result that looks like this. So it's a lot more appealing than we'll take a look at what's happening currently. And in theory, it's sending a lot more signals to Google about specifically what you're about, as well as just being going to increase the click-through rate. And the other opportunity we're seeing is setting up Google My Business. So if we go to the Contact Us page in here and search the address, we're getting the computer science building.
Oh, I think we've got a frozen screen again. But I mean, I'm not going to kind of go on. I know Michael's got an intent for what he's discussing, but yeah, SERP Sim, super useful. We use it all the time. It's a free tool, really easy way to change your metadata, titles, meta description.
Can I ask a question? Does it actually physically change it, or is it showing you what it would look like if you changed it?
That's a great question. Yeah, no, it's a tool to show you what it would look like. You can find a few different things. If you just look up SERP, S-E-R-P, SERP Simulator, you'll find a few. But we find serpsim.com just really simple, really easy to use. SERP stands for Search Engine Result Page, if we weren't clear on that. But yeah, you just go in there, work it out. It gives you a chance to see what it would look like on Google. And then once you go in to edit your page, you'll have that knowledge. And generally, we're not just working directly with each page going to SERP Sim. You'll create an Excel sheet for all the pages, specifically the ones that you really want to get results for, and spend time making that Excel sheet good. And then you implement it. Then you go back and check it, see how you're doing over a course of time. What's the best way to A/B test 2 different SERP snippets? Bob, that's a fantastic question. I haven't gotten into A/B testing yet. I'm really looking forward to it. Somebody might be able to speak more highly to that, but very good question. Oh, I think Mike's back, but I've got him muted.
No, it's all right. I unmuted myself. Sorry about that. Where did you guys lose me? Google My Business?
I think so. Anyone else?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, by getting to Google My Business and Play, you get this richer result for those branded searches. Oh, I didn't share the screen. Bear with me another second.
No worries.
Technical issues, folks. There we go. All right, so this right-hand side that's white right now, we can get that knowledge panel result. Well, you could rank for local 3-pack as well. So for Google My Business, it's really powerful for brick and mortar stores, more for the local 3-pack. But for a brand that has like one location, it can really help with that knowledge panel on the right-hand side and give you opportunity to add posts. And right now, I recommend, there is a bit of a turnaround for Google My Business because they're on reduced staff and they're prioritizing essential services at the moment. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't put it in to get yourself in the queue for getting the postcard. But what they've also opened up is if you control your Search Console, you can get access 99% of the time pretty much right away, or they might do a phone verification. So you don't have to wait for that postcard. Yeah, so those are the 3 big opportunities we see for DeepSense. Do you folks have any specific questions, thoughts, hopes, concerns?
Personally, I'm interested in hearing what Rebecca thinks, but I think this is mega helpful. We haven't put as much priority on SEO as we should have, or haven't just had the focus and the time. So I think this has really helped us drive where we're going to put our effort and where we'll see a greater return on effort. The Google for my business is fantastic. I think one of the things that we're running into is we're based out of Dal, and Dal is physically closed. So we won't be able to get that postcard because no one's in the building. But it's a good reminder because it's the legitimacy you look for when you look for your own website and you're doing your own searches. And I realize now, you're right, we're missing that piece that legitimizes us as well. So it's a great recommendation. Rebecca, do you have anything?
Yeah, echo that. I think we only launched this version of the website in the fall, early fall. So focus was really on just kind of getting the website revamped with not enough thought on SEO. So they're all really good reminders and learnings for what we can do better. And I think we can take some of this away and think about kind of like the next reiteration of the website and making sure that we're really taking advantage of SEO opportunities.
Awesome. Do you guys have control of the site? You can change the title and description now, or do you have to wait for a developer?
We have full control of the site.
Beautiful.
We live within the Dalhousie domain. It's completely standalone, so we can do anything to it.
Great. One thing I'd also mention, and you bring up a good point about when people do a search for you folks right now and they do get an address, they see the computer science building. And even though I know that's a great resource and you guys are operating out of there, it might make it seem not as professional as if it was its own, even they wouldn't know what the address is. So it'll help just add a level of legitimacy, as Jennifer was saying.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And like, to be honest, like something that had completely hadn't even crossed my mind to do that. And we've done it for the faculty website, but the faculty computer science website, but didn't even think about that with the DeepSense website. So that's a really good reminder.
Great. Any more questions?
Yeah, Bob here. Michael,
Yeah, Bob.
I asked about what's the best way to test two different SERP snippets if I've got two possibilities, and I want to see which one provides the best.
It's tough. You can do it with paid ads. That's one approach to it, because you can't A/B split test it, because like I could change my title and my description and it could take a week for it to show up, and then you're still at the mercy of Google. If they don't think it's relevant, they could rework it and pull content from your site. So the only way to really do it is to like define two moments in time that are roughly the same. So like a year-over-year comparison would work, but that's like such a long gap, it's kind of tough. And then you could say, okay, for the month of April, I'm going to run this title, and we're not going to change anything else, like a pure A/B split test. What we do, if we're going to change the title and say we're going to do like a big title structure overall, like let's say we're focusing on a free trial for 14 days and we add it to all the product pages, we'll define a moment, and then we'll change it. And then we won't look at traffic so much as what we'll compare is top results and click-through rate to see which one performed the best, but it's still a little bit messy. I haven't found a clean way to do an A/B split test for that title and description. If you figure it away, Bob, I'd love to chat with you more about it.
Yeah, I'll just one quick comment, and then we can move on. But I have done the Google ads. You know, I've used that approach. Would you say that the results would translate to SEO as well? I mean, the people that click on Google ads would they also have the same impact with organic?
It depends, but I would say it's a really strong indicator, because you're playing with ad copy. So what's driving people to click through more for an ad would drive people to click through. Now you got to take into consideration, like your ad, you're paying for that top spot, whereas you might be on 8th position on Google. So it's not a fair comparison to the ad because you got such visibility at the top versus that 8th position. But if you had, say, 1st, 2nd, 3rd position, so high converting spots, and you've run ads, and you could use those as more or less direct comparisons. I know, Matt Whalen, you're in the paid space a lot more than I am. Do you have any insight on that part?
Yeah, I think your thinking is definitely correct in that certainly the fastest way to check the validity of like a SERP in terms of driving click through would be to use paid ad. That's what I would recommend for clients, because as you said, the organic side would take far too long. It would be far too complex to get meaningful results. But if you're, if you've got kind of some description copy or something you want to change the meta title to, paid search is definitely the easiest way to do that. Just because you can say, like, for example, if you were a real estate agent, you could say houses for sale versus homes for sale, and you want to know if there's a difference. Paid ads would be a quick and easy way. You could potentially get a meaningful result in like several days or a week. And so you could then apply that to your organic pages. I think the one place where that strategy might fall down is if you're trying to set up a description or a title for a term that is, let's say, more or like less widely searched, you may not be able to get results with paid search because you can't get a paid keyword that people actually look for to fit that. So sometimes it fits really well, but other times it doesn't. I mean, I would say like certainly for like a homepage or like your main offering, paid search would be an excellent way to kind of to test ideas for copy. And then maybe like some of your more niche offerings or sub pages would probably be tougher to get a result for, but again, it depends on what you do.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
No worries. I'm going to pass things over to Kevin, and then we're going to have a little bit more time to chat after this.